Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuff and Things. Welcome to 2022. My first video of the year. It is now the 6th of January, and I had been receiving pressure from my husband to do some advertising on these tools that I have created for Stampin' Up people. They've started with me as private tools, and I thought I would make them public. So they have been live for 3 years in a sort of unfinished state. So what I did after I finished mailing off my holiday cards and I got the calendars done for mailing for the new year, I dove into my Stampin' Up Tools menu of my website. So I thought today I would give an intro. This is my first official intro. I have mentioned it here and there. I do have people who come and use the tools. I have received input from people, questions about the tools, like if I could sell it to them. And this is basically a database that is part of my website. I run my website on a coding system called Drupal. It's a tool that I used when I was in the corporate world. I was in charge of the websites at a big company, a few different brands there, and we used Drupal, so I became very proficient at it, and I started my website years ago as an ASP.NET application, and then toward the end of my working career, I did convert it to Drupal, more as practice than anything. So behind this website is a MySQL database, and I have a bunch of tools that I use to create relational databases that work within the rules of Drupal, because Drupal actually manages that database, so I don't have to do it directly. And today's demo is just going to be how to use the tools, you know, what they look like, what they can do, and what they can't do. And then I will do a second under the hood technical video. So if people are intrigued about maybe doing something on a technical scale like this, it will give them some insight and maybe some things, you know, there are a lot of people who learn to do web development on their own in the various web tools out there for managing a website. So let's look at Stampin' Up Tools. Part of my time was spent cleaning up the drop-down list that used to look a little bit different than this. And so if you click on Sentiment Search, you get to one particular tool. Set Images is another tool. And then I finally finished my paper pumpkin data entry. I now have every sentiment from, I believe, January 2018 to the December kit. And I have also done a little research and found all of the stamp set images in a PDF that somebody posted on what's called the Paper Pumpkin Fan Club, which is a private group in Facebook that you can become a member of. The only thing, there's certain criteria. You guys can go and find it and become a member. And there are a bunch of resource files available to Paper Pumpkin subscribers, and I found one that included every image. So I now can work on backdating and getting all of the very old kits prior to the time when I was a subscriber. So the first thing I want to do is, I'm already on the search tool main page that gives some information, has my email contact if you find anything wrong. Of course, the disclaimer that images are copyright Stampin' Up. The first tool is called Stampin Up Sentiments, and it is an advanced search tool that is all word-based, actual text. So I hand-entered every single sentiment for the last 3 years, and the only ones I keep active are the current catalogs. It does note that there is actually 3 stamp sets that are huge with like the whole page, the whole stamp. It's like an oversized stamp, and it's got so many words that I didn't feel that entering them as individuals was going to be all that helpful. I'm more looking for helping of finding an individual stamp that has a sentiment on it, not the full sheet words. So there are 3 defined sentiments that they are not entered. They're unique, very large, and they're basically as a background stamp. I also have a review from Gloria. She found it was very helpful to her. The second tool is, again, the images of the stamp and dies as a set with the image that you see when you're on the Stampin' Up website. And then, of course, there's the 4 different special paper pumpkin searches. So let's start with Stampin' Up Sentiments. Basically, it has some instructions, and it gives you a definition of the 5 fields of data that I provide. It is a very powerful tool that allows you to search based on some criteria, but I find that the easiest way, and what I use probably 98% of the time, is the operator called contains. So if I say contains, if any part of the sentiment has the word birthday, for instance, and I hit the apply button, you will get a running list of all of the sentiments in all of the catalogs that have the word birthday in it. And I did scroll down, and that's because I wanted you to see that the new mini catalog from January through June of 2022 went live 2 days ago. And indeed, I have entered all of the sentiments. I also sort by catalog page, or display the catalog page. I see it's not in order on the very right column, so that you can quickly flip to your catalog if you want and see what the sentiment looks like. I have a descriptive detail of what it looks like using the font detail and sizes. If it's cursive, what types of cursive. Now, this is all my own interpretation of what a font looks like and how many rows it is. If it's got multiple fonts, it says mixed font. And if you want to see, you can either go look at the image, which is, of course, the 4th column. And if you really want to know the size of it and even this more detailed, I have under the sentiment, if you click the sentiment happy birthday like this one here, in addition to my notes, I actually have database fields of information that just line up the data in a more methodical and analytical way for you to look at. And you can still from this screen also go. So if you've read the description of the font and you still want to see the stamp, maybe you think, oh, this might work for me, click on the image and it goes right to all of the fonts. And then if you want to order from me, there is this convenient ordering link that will take you to my store at Stampin' Up, which every demonstrator, there's a tool that you pay monthly for, which I pay for, and that is having the ability for my customers to order online, shop directly with me, so that I would get the credit for the sale. So if I hit go back now and I want to search for another one, you don't have to go to the Stampin' Up Tools like I did initially. You can just click directly on the sentiment search to get to that tool. So that's pretty self-explanatory. If there are a bundle, let's say there's a bundle and a stamp set, you will have 2 entries here. I have kept bundles as a separate entity because they are only live for one cycle. They have a lifespan that is shorter than the stamp set itself. So I want to show you here is welcoming window, sending sunshine for a beautiful birthday, that has a bundle, and right below it is the stamp set. If you want to see what is contained in the bundle versus just the stamp set, go ahead and click on the bundle image to see what the dies look like. So it's either going to be, if it's a bundle, a die or a punch, or it might even be a combo where you get dies, an embossing folder, and the stamp set. So that is what the bundles are all about. The second tool, so that's enough on the first tool. You can just leave questions on my YouTube channel, and I will either answer them publicly if I feel they are private questions that are more personal and you might not want to know. You will probably want to send me an email. Right here is an email link. Use this link to send me anything private. But if it's a question you think will help everybody, if I answer it publicly, go ahead and leave it on the YouTube comments. Okay, so the second tool I've already alluded to, and that is there is a tool that will show you, if you know what your set is and you just want to see it, you can click on the link, and this will show you, in this case, Dragonfly Garden consists of a stamp set and a stamp and punch bundle. And then here's the link you can go to buy it. And again, I also provide which catalog it's in and what the page is of that catalog. So this is also a very handy tool. If I know something but I'm not quite sure of the name, I will use the drop down to search alphabetically for the product to then pop it up on my screen. It's easier for me to do this than it is for me to try to remember which catalog it is in and then drag out the catalog and go to the page. So I go to this tool first before I open my catalog. So that concludes the annual and mini catalog tools. I also have Celebration in here as well. So Celebration items are in the top two sets. So then now with Paper Pumpkin, I don't know if you know, but I do alternative videos every month. They are extensive, and I have now standardized every month I do at least 20 alternatives using a mix and match system that I've come up with, where I come up with a bunch of backgrounds, come up with a bunch of focal layers, and then I mix and match them and talk about them in the video, and at the end is a giant showcase of at least 20 different combinations to just help you be inspired by maybe one or two or three of the different designs that I come up with. It's a really fun thing that I love to do, so that is every month. So here it talks about, oh, and I forgot to update, I have now completed the data entry for this tool, so I will, as soon as I'm done, say that it's from January 2018 to current. And I will be now, when I do my alternative videos after Paper Pumpkin comes, I will go in and do the data entry. It's only one stamp set each month, and they are a small size stamp set that maybe has 3 to 6 sentiments, very rarely, but sometimes there might be up to 10. And so doing them each month is not going to be a difficult challenge. So this tool uses the database fields and different table structures a bit differently than what the main sentiment search tool does. So if you go into the sentiment search, the last thing I was testing was hello. I used is equal to, but it has the exact same search parameters, so it's definitely an advanced search that you can start with the word contains any words. Again, I like contains in general. I'm going to type Christmas. I will hit apply, and it is going to give me the kit name, the name of, or the month and year kit name, and a little bit of a detail on the font. Each of the sentiments is linked. So again, just like the previous tool, you click on the sentiment and you get the same structured field type method of the details of the fonts so that it's just a different way to look at the same information that's up in the notes. My intent eventually is to create some search criteria. I haven't really found a need for it myself. If you are interested, if you look at that and you're like, oh, I would love to look up angled cursive, for instance, for font type, let me know. I'm still evaluating the usefulness of that, but visually I like seeing the font details quickly in a nice stacked list. It just is kind of works the way my mind thinks. Every single paper pumpkin will be a kit that is only active for 1 month, the month that it is released. You sign up, it's a subscription service, and you have to sign up by the 10th of the month. And as soon as the 10th is over, you get billed, and it ships about the 12th of the month. I think there's like a couple of different shipping dates. Mine usually always ships the 12th, and it arrives with wherever I'm at in the United States. I always have it shipped to where I am locally, and by about the 20th of the month, I get my paper pumpkin. I do the alternatives, and then that kit by the next month is no longer current. So what I've done for the product, image, and shopping link is it does not have the individual kit because it cannot be ordered. If you have not subscribed, you will not be able to receive it. You must subscribe before the kit is released on that 11th of the month. So these two links are on every single sentiment. You can either order paper pumpkin with monthly pay-as-you-go, or the way I get paper pumpkin now, because I know I'm going to get it every month. And even if you are getting it every month with a prepaid subscription, which is what I use, you can suspend for a month if you know you're going to be gone, or it's not a month you are interested in. I want every month. So I use the prepaid subscriptions. Let's click the link here, and this gives a little more detail on the subscriptions, and here is the link. See that the sizes of the fonts look to be about the same. It's just text. They're all the same size. So if I say it's tiny and small, you have to just know that that particular stamp is got a mix of lettering, sizes tiny and small. So you might be asking, why isn't there a link to the image? Well, until my most recent effort to actually get these tools 100% up and running, I did not have access to the stamp set imagery, but I have found my source, and I am going to be adding the capability for you to click on a link that will take you to the image for the stamp set that contains wishing you a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. I will be working on that last phase to activate every aspect of the paper pumpkin sentiment search so that it functions just like the main catalogs search. So the second way that I've done a search for paper pumpkin is the kit name. Actually, I'm going to go here. Kit name. So if you know what the kit is, but you don't remember when, you know that it had like something to do with the word pun. So I'm going to type the word pun, and here is, we had one stamp set. I know the word pun because this is the stamp set, or this is the kit that I just did. And this is an example of a kit with a lot of sentiments. It's a great kit, and the stamp set was wonderful. So here's what it looks like, and you could say, oh, I want to see what I loaf you, get the details on that, and here it's a small sans serif font. The third way to look up paper pumpkin is by date. You might remember the date but not the name. You go, boy, I think it was June of 2019. So you type it in, leave a space between the month and the year, and boom, up comes the June 2019 kit. Now let's see what happens if I just type the word June because you're not sure what year it was. So sure enough, you do get a mix of the years. Now, ironically, the way I'm sorting this right now is by the word sentiment. And it's possible that in the case if you put June and not the year, maybe I want to sort by the notes field so that all of the dates are going to come up properly. So I might want to alter this one. This is the joy of it's my own database and I can make changes. So I did, with pressure from my husband, say I'm going to get this as ready as I can, and then I will do the video and present it. And so here I am finding a new way to clean it up. And then I found that link that didn't work, that it's going to be working here. The one thing to note about that link that I talked about with the paper pumpkin, if we search by sentiment and I click on a sentiment, these two links are linked to the old website structure that Stampin' Up had that they recently changed. The way my database works, these links are in the database by themselves and they are hooked into the word hello by a relationship. So as soon as I am done, I can go to the source link structure for those two links and fix them in one place, and it will update on every single one of the Stampin' Up sentiments. That's the strength of using a database to do work like this. I think that is all I'm going to talk about, because I see I've talked for 22 minutes, which is a very long time for something like this, but I hope that it inspires you to come and check out these new tools that I have. Go ahead and leave me any questions, either through a private email using the link that I have in the tool page. Right here at the top of the tool page is the email. It is highlighted blue. I would love to hear from you. And any improvements you think I can make. You know, I'm somewhat limited to what the database does and how it works. But I think that it is still really powerful, and I've been using it, like I said, I've been using it for 3 years, and I think I made it public maybe 2 years ago, and so it took a really long time, because this is all hand entry. I hand built the structure. There's no quick way to do it. I don't use a database dump. I had to interpret every single sentiment, look at it and evaluate it and define what all of the fonts looked like and why, and come up with the structure. So again, one more video is coming that will give you guys the technical under the hood look, just because I think it might be interesting to people who either like the technical part or maybe they don't, and you just want to see what does a tool like this and what's involved in making tools like this. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Add any of your comments that are public on the YouTube comments. Email me private things. I hope your 2022 is starting off well, and thanks for watching.